Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for August 2015. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Yahoo, Jay Kingston, Yippee, and James Hinsey. Hooray! And as always, we have tons and tons of stuff. This show is extra special awesome because we have footage from ConnectiCon 2015 and Pintastic 2015. It's going to be wicked awesome and cool. But as always, we start off with some movie news. Oh, no, wait, I could do my hat. My hat for this month. This is from Motion Laboratories. If you go to a concert and you see all the rigging up there with the lights and stuff, well, this is the company that makes all the power control modules for the rigging. Oh, yes. That controls it. Back in my audio-visual days. The symbol's cool. Because it looks really science fiction-y. That's why I wore it for today, okay? Anyway, sorry for the sideline. No, I'm not. We start off with movie news, popcorn previews with Jay Kingston. Take it away, Jay.
Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation.
I don't believe it.
Stars Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, and Simon Pegg. And it involves the IMF going up against the Syndicate, a worldwide organization bent on destroying the IMF.
So it's their version of Spectre.
It's their version of Spectre. And this movie is coming out as we speak. As this show is being filmed, or as we're
so like now
the show.
It's out now. It is out now as you're watching.
Cool.
And let's take a look at the footage.
The IMF is uniquely trained and highly motivated. Specialist without equal, immune to any countermeasures. But it is an agency of chaos. The time has come to dissolve the IMF. Now, I want you to choose your next words very carefully. Where is Hunt?
Last I heard, he was tracking the Syndicate.
How come the CIA has never discovered any intel regarding the Syndicate?
Do you want the polite answer or the truth?
We've never met before, right?
Follow me.
Benji.
Ethan, where are you?
The Syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do.
An anti-IMF.
They're coming after us with everything they've got.
You ready?
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
So what's the play?
You want to bring down the Syndicate? It's impossible.
How do you know we can trust her?
Desperate times. Desperate measures.
You have your seatbelt on? You asking me that now?
Oh, hey, boys, what did I miss? Ethan?
Benji! Open the door! Open the door! Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh, my God!
The other door!
This one looks pretty good.
That's number 5.
I believe so.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this does look good.
I really thought that the vehicle would have run its course by now, but they just keep coming up with more and more plots. And
No, the last Mission Impossible movie was a lot better than people thought it was going to be. And
yeah,
it
it
did
was
very
really great.
well at the
It was
box
great.
office.
Yeah.
Yep.
It really was good.
Stunts were outstanding.
Next we have Pan, the story of the young Peter Pan and how he came to be. Everybody's always wondered where Peter Pan came from. This movie attempts to answer that question. It stars Hugh Jackman and Gareth Hedlund, and it is out on October 9th of this year. It is as yet unrated, and let's see that footage.
Peter, it's your file. Will you read it? It's from your mum.
My dearest Peter, I long for the day that I can come back for you and explain everything. You are extraordinary, more than you can imagine. I promise that you will see me again.
In this world, or another. Or another.
Welcome to Neverland!
This is not the end of me. This is the beginning. This is not the end of me. This is the beginning. This is not.
If I'm gonna trust you, I need to know your name.
It's Hook. The name's James Hook.
The little one, he wears the pan.
The Pan is our tribe's bravest warrior.
Well. The princess, I presume.
Oh, well, I'm actually just a minor, but I appreciate the compliment.
Bishop.
Are you insane?
Have you come to kill me, Peter?
I don't believe in bedtime stories.
Personally, I'm going to Pan. I don't think it's. I think it's going to be great on special effects, but the plot, the storyline is going to be very wanting. I've seen enough. It's almost like doing Spider-Man over and over and over again. How many times can you watch Uncle Ben die? How many times can you get a different version of Peter Pan?
All right, well, how many versions of Peter Pan have there been? Like 2?
There's been like the musical, and there's been Hook, and there's been
Jason Isaacs played Hook, but this one has Blackbeard. Hugh Jackman is Blackbeard,
right?
And Garrett Hedlund will eventually become Captain Hook in it. But so it'll be interesting to see, you know, what happens there.
It looks visually nice.
Visually, it looks wonderful, but as far as the storyline, I don't think so. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Go ahead.
The Good Dinosaur.
As opposed to the Bad Dinosaur?
In Jurassic World.
As opposed to the Bad Dinosaur.
Bad Dinosaur.
Tells a story of what happens if the meteor that hit the Earth and destroyed the dinosaurs missed the Earth. So.
What, did it hit the moon?
No, it just flies right over.
It just flies right by.
Did they see it like go by and say, hey, what was that?
Yes, they do. They don't say anything, but they go like this.
They don't say anything. They just look up. There's a bunch of...
So they don't speak?
They don't speak
well,
as of yet.
Oh.
As of yet. There is no voice cast posted yet.
It's just a teaser.
It's just a teaser. And it looks interesting.
This intro is longer than the teaser. It is.
It is. It really is. So this one comes out on November 25th of this year and is as yet unrated. Let's see the teaser.
Did you miss it? Rewind the tape, watch it over again.
That's good.
Thank God for DVRs.
Last but not least, we've got The Martian, starring Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, and Kristen Wiig, which I thought was kind of funny, having a comedy actress in a serious movie. So
you said Matt Damon, right?
Yep.
Wasn't his last movie that he was in, he was out in like outer space?
He was, yep.
He must have really liked
He
it so
was?
much that he did
Yeah,
another one. He
wasn't
was
he
in
in
Interstellar.
Oh, yes, Interstellar, yeah.
The Martian tells the story of Martian, not a Martian expedition, it's a Martian expedition by, I would imagine, the United States. And there's a storm on Mars. The crew loses contact with Matt Damon and assumes that he's dead, and they've got a short window in which they have to depart. So they leave and leave him marooned on Mars, and he has to survive. So that's the general synopsis of the film. It comes out October 2nd, and let's take a look at that footage, which is, as of yet, unrated.
Every human being has a basic instinct to help each other out. If a hiker gets lost in the mountains, people coordinate a search. If an earthquake levels the city, people all over the world send emergency supplies. This instinct is found in every culture, without exception.
At around 4:30 a.m., our satellites detected a storm approaching the Ares 3 mission site on Mars. The storm had escalated to severe, and we had no choice but to abort the mission. But during the evacuation, astronaut Marc Watney was killed.
I'm entering this log for the record. This is Marc Watney, and I'm still alive. Obviously. I have no way to contact NASA or my crewmates, but even if I could, it would take 4 years for another manned mission to reach me, and I'm in a hab designed to last 31 days. So, in the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option. I'm gonna have to science the out of this. Okay, let's do the math. I gotta figure out how to grow 4 years worth of food here, on a planet where nothing grows. But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, none of this matters anyway.
Houston, be advised.
We've got a video message. It's directed to the whole crew. Play it.
Mein Gott. Marc Watney's still alive.
Woo! In your face, Neil Armstrong.
We left him behind. Let's go get our boy.
This is something NASA rejected, so we're talking mutiny. And if we mess up the supply rendezvous, we die. If we mess up the Earth gravity assist, we die.
It's space. It doesn't cooperate. I guarantee you that at some point, everything's gonna go south on you. And you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end.
Is it possible that he's still alive?
I imagine at the very least it'll get a PG-13. I don't imagine an R rating unless they drop the F-bomb, then they'll get it. But
yeah, well, even if they drop the F-bomb, they still give a lot of films PG-13 nowadays.
really? My understanding was if they drop the F-bomb, it's an automatic R.
Well,
Deadpool's going to be an R.
That's for sure. Yikes. Okay.
That's all I've got for popcorn previews for this month.
Did you have something else too about Ben Affleck?
Yes, I did. Ben Affleck has signed to do all of the next upcoming Batman films.
The next 35 Batman movies.
Including an independent Batman film that's coming out.
Yep.
He's Batman in Batman vs. Superman. He is Batman in the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
And he is Batman in the 2 upcoming Justice League movies.
Batman in the geriatric facility? Yes.
So whether you like Ben Affleck as Batman, you're stuck with him.
That's right.
He's not that old.
No, he's not.
No, but it looks really good so far in the newer trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we'll have probably next month.
Right.
So this could be great. This film, or he could be absolutely fabulous as Batman. I have no idea. So I've got no opinion on this as of yet. But the trailers for Batman vs. Superman look really good. So that's all I've got for popcorn previews for this month. And now the segment that everyone waits for ever since the 50s.
The 50s? I thought it was the 40s.
It was the, no, it was the 50s.
It was the 30s.
Look,
when we
you
had
guys
talkies.
are all like super old. Need I remind you, I am the youngest at this table.
When we started in
Still.
radio.
I'm just saying.
Back when Marconi was still young.
Exactly. Rubbing 2 sticks together and a piece of wire.
You know, I think this joke was last month's too.
It was. But it never gets old, as opposed to us. Anyway.
Calvin Watts and Game Over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Wow.
Calvin, you got a lot of stuff this month.
I have a lot of stuff. So much stuff that we're really going to kind of gloss over the E3 stuff that I have. And, you know, I gave you guys the really big stuff last month. The one thing I will tell you is a couple of big things happened. Nintendo's president passed away, Satoru Iwata. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when he did, we heard whoop, 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 whoop.
No, no.
That's just wrong, dude. Even for you. Anyway,
Too soon. Too soon.
He had cancer. He was like 55, and he brought in. He was the main person behind Nintendo's renaissance with like the Wii and whatnot. So he will be missed. And there's been a lot of stuff coming out about Nintendo's new console. I think it's codenamed the NX. There's more and more rumors that it's going to actually come out next year, and that the Wii U is pretty much all but dead. So take that with a grain of salt. More information on that as it comes. Home video, there's not a whole lot going on, but there's a couple of things, and one I'm going to throw out there as a tribute to our liaison in the studio, John, which is still really cool if you're a Lost in Space fan. In September, the entire Lost in Space series will be available on Blu-ray, remastered.
Oh, nice.
All sorts of collectibles, that sort of stuff.
Now, that ran for how many seasons? Was it 2?
3, I want to say.
Was it 3 seasons?
I believe it was
Right.
3 seasons.
All right.
So if you're a Lost in Space fan, very, very good.
So it starts in black and white. Starts in black and white, then goes to
Yep,
color.
goes to color.
Nice.
So
You want to see Dr. Smith as a giant carrot.
God help us.
the pain.
So I was more of a Star Trek guy, but Lost in Space is still pretty cool. So
Yeah, it was fun.
And I just recently picked up X-Men Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut, which just came out this month. So if you're an X-Men fan, I would definitely recommend that you pick up this movie. I have no idea why they didn't use this in the theater, because it ran an extra 20 minutes longer. I mean, like, seriously, take a look at the movie, and then you'll be asking yourself, mostly you'll be asking yourself the same question. There's no, this movie, it really, even the Rogue stuff, it works. So it was good.
Right.
So anyways, so back on July 10th and 11th, and actually like a day previous, I had the pleasure of going up to Sturbridge, Massachusetts for Pintastic New England 2015. And oh my God, guys, I gotta tell you, I had so much fun. It was a big family event. They had a little carnival out in the back. They had a mobile arcade that was out in the back. They had a magician. They had a clown. And yes, they had pinball. Lots of pinball. We have a ton of stuff. I mean, literally from vendors to people in the pinball industry. Some really cool highlights, a couple of new prototype machines that are going to be coming out in the near future. And here's some of that right now.
Okay, back at Pintastic 2015, we are here with Jack, otherwise known as Jersey Jack, the Jersey Jack. So the pinball machines you see behind me, the Wizard of Oz and the Hobbit, it's his company. Jack, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
So how are you enjoying Pintastic so far?
You know, anytime you can be at a pinball show that's brand new in the middle of the summer, awesome. It's really great.
Now, you have been a really big supporter, if not the biggest supporter of Pintastic. I know you've been working with Gabe for an awful lot and everything, and you have some really, really good machines. So, starting a pinball company couldn't have been far from the easiest thing. I mean, for the longest time after Williams closed up, it was just Stern. So what made you decide to open up a pinball company?
Well, we have a big, deep customer base with pinballsales.com. The history was about 10 or 12,000 customers. And this is my 40th year in the industry, so it's not like I just got into this a half hour ago. I love pinball, I breathe it, and I just believe that there was a place for a company to make a pinball machine that didn't really compromise on what they made, full-featured, and bring a lot of new technology into the marketplace, and probably get women and younger people into pinball as well, and that's what we tried to do.
I know when I first heard about it, I was really cool to hear that somebody else was going to try and do like another pinball machine and have like a new company starting up. When I first heard the Wizard of Oz, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a theme. And I thought about it for a minute, though. I'm like, no, it's a really classic story. You probably don't have any problems with licensing. And I am glad to say I was extremely wrong. That is a fabulous machine. A lot of innovations on there, not the least of which is the LCD background DMD type field. How is it making that machine, and where did you come up with the ideas of having that as your initial offering?
Well, I believe that the first game that we were going to do needed to be something that young people could relate to, older people could relate to, women and men could relate to. Classic story, loved story, deep, very deep, that you could take all the elements of the movie and translate them to a pinball machine so that seamlessly you could tell the story through playing the game. And we accomplished that, I believe. It's a beautiful game.
Well, I think you have, because you wouldn't have gotten a Hobbit as a licensee for your second effort. The people who I know who have played the Wizard of Oz, who have owned the Wizard of Oz, speak very passionately about it. I've gone up and done some stuff at the Pinball Wizard Arcade in Pelham, New Hampshire a couple of times, and the owner, Sarah C. John, is a really, really big fan of yours. How is it producing The Hobbit?
The Hobbit, you know, everybody says, well, your second one will be easier. Actually, The Hobbit was a little harder because we had a couple of missteps in design, which we changed. We went back to the drawing board. Some of the assets from Warner Brothers came to us very late, so we didn't know what Smaug looked like. And then we based our artwork on the available assets. And then when new assets were given to us, we said, wow, we have to incorporate that into the game. So we had to kind of go backwards. But the net result is a lot better game. And that's all that mattered. It didn't matter that it came out sooner. I didn't want to push it out the door if it wasn't done, or we weren't happy with it. So it took a little bit longer. It's like, think about wine. You know, in a winery, you pick all the grapes, you do all that stuff, and you have to wait years until it's right. It's the same with the game. It has to cook, you know, until it's done. So I'm really pleased with the game right now.
Speaking of cooking, so the next table that you're going to have is going to be an original design by none other than Pat Lawler. Is that correct? Can you say anything about that so far?
I can say it's going to be great, but that's coming from me. Pat's very excited to be back in pinball, and he's extremely excited to be working with us. He's able to take our platform and let his imagination run wild and do things that he's never been able to do. So with every game we do, we want to innovate more things. We want to build fun always first and mechanical action in the game. And of course, we want family-friendly themes.
Well, you can see his pinball machines are getting a lot of love. JerseyJackPinball.com if they want to find out more about your product.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Jersey Jack Pinball.
Jack, thank you very much. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you in my
pleasure is all mine. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I got to tell you, I am very happy right now. One of the people who I was really looking forward to meeting today and talk about with pinball is Andrew Heighway. Now, his company, Heighway Pinball, is from England. They just had their first table come out in production called Full Throttle. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you, and thanks very much for having me on your show.
Oh, no problem at all. So how are you liking it here in Pintastic? Is it your first time in the States?
No, I've been to the States many times. It's my first time to the Boston area, and I just love it here. I love coming over to the States. You know, I know that the history of pinball is in Chicago and in the USA, and you know, we're very you know, tuned into the roots of pinball, and I just love coming here, and because the enthusiasm for the American public with pinball is just overwhelming, and everybody seems to love playing that game as well, so it's just great to be here.
So I know you've been working on Full Throttle for a while. What made you decide to want to start up your own company and start making pinball machines?
Well, I kind of had a bit of a history with businesses in pinball. I sort of bought, sold, repaired pinball machines and operated them. I also have a pinball show similar to this in the UK called the UK Pinball Party. And I also operated games, and I got to understand the reasons from talking to other people and through my own experiences why pinball had declined as a piece of coin-operated machinery. So I decided that I thought, you know, maybe we could do things differently. We could have a more modern machine, have a different approach to this, and bring the good times back to pinball. So I formed the company with the view to try to make pinball a mainstream activity again.
Okay, and so this is the final result. So this is Full Throttle. Why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Well, yes, I mean, Full Throttle actually started off as a Greek mythological theme called Circe's Animal House, but it was felt it wasn't really mainstream enough on one point. But the other thing was this was a super fast game, and it really needed a theme that reflected the fast nature of the game. So Full Throttle was born, you know, sort of a motorcycle racing themed game and something which would apply to all ages. So this is how it came about. It's an ultra fast game. It's a wide body game as well, which unusually wide body games normally play slower, but this plays faster than most narrow body games. So it's an extremely quick game, and yeah, it's our first game, and it's now in full production.
That's cool. So I noticed that there's a LCD screen in the middle of the playfield. So talk a little bit about that. What's that all about?
Well, basically, you know, I always felt that with pinball machines, you know, all the displays were up here normally, and you know, your attention is down above the flipper area there, so you're not getting to see all of these cool animations. So by having the screen there, I mean, the screen is not meant to be the centre of attention. It's meant to inform and to entertain the player, but the pinball is the big star. Is, you know, so therefore, you know, when you're playing the game, you can see peripherally scores, things going on, and everything without having to look up and take your attention away from the game.
I am really looking forward to playing this. You've gotten a lot of positive reaction from the pinball community here in the US, and you're starting to work on your second table, which I just found about the other day, based on the movie Aliens. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. Well, the story behind that was Alien was my favourite film of all time, and so I had to, you know, if I have a pinball company, I have to go after the Alien license, because I know there's so many other people out there, and Alien is still such a current license. I mean, Alien 5 is in development at the moment, Prometheus, of course, and Prometheus 2 coming out soon, so it's still such a relevant title now as it was back in 1979. So it's a dream theme for me. We got some really cool stuff going on. For example, we have a topper on top of the Alien game with the rotating beacons. There'll be like smoke coming out underneath the machine. There'll be rotating beacons during like the evac mode. We got some really great stuff planned for this. But the funny thing is, yeah, it's not just the second game. We've also got 2 other games in development as well at the moment, and they're both strong licenses too. So at the moment we have Full Throttle plus 3 other games in development.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll be looking forward to seeing more of what you guys are going to be putting out, and we'll be having updates on the show. Dude, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome.
Yeah, it looks like you had a lot of fun.
I absolutely had a lot of fun.
And you have to give shout outs to your wingman who did the camera work.
Yes, a big shout out to Kevin Williams for helping me out at Pintastic. I could not have done it without him. It was a really big deal. We're gonna have more stuff for you next month, but you know, big shout outs to Jersey Jack Guarnieri. I'm probably not saying that right, so I apologize. But he's the owner of Jersey Jack Pinball. They're the guys who make the Wizard of Oz and the Hobbit, which should be out before the end of the year in like its final form. I got to play like an earlier version, which was really cool. Remind me a little bit of Medieval Madness, which was really cool. And Roger Sharp, the legendary pinball designer, historian, all around. What a nice guy. It was a pleasure to speak with him, and such a down-to-earth guy for such a big guy in the industry.
Right.
And then Andrew Heighway from Heighway Pinball. That full throttle machine, even though it's a wide body table, and wide body tables usually play slow, this plays fast, and because it's a modular table, it must have impressed enough people that they got the license for the Aliens movies. And their next project's going to be an Aliens or Alien pinball table. And off camera, we were talking about our love for like the Alien movies or the first two, and it was great. It was a really, really good guy. I have literally like a bunch more stuff for you guys to see next month. And plus, if you check out a YouTube channel, there'll be segments. You'll be able to see like upcoming stuff that's going to be in upcoming shows, like an early preview. So that's all I got.
Cool.
So let's go on to Toob News with Marc Morisseau so we can find out what's going to happen for the fall season.
I got a few things going on for the fall season. We have so much stuff. I'm going to keep it short this month. Supergirl, starring Melissa Benoist, premieres Monday, August 26, 2015, 8:30 p.m. on CBS.
Wait a minute, August?
Yeah.
Wow.
August 26th.
That's weird.
Yep, that's coming up this
Nice.
month.
Get a jump on all the other shows.
Get a jump on all the other shows. And it looks like a lot of fun, too. It looks like a lot of fun. Limitless is another CBS show. It's starring Jake McDorman. It's based on a 2011 film that starred Bradley Cooper, who also figures into the show as well. He makes an appearance in the program. That starts Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015 at 10 p.m. on CBS. So that's another one to look out for. And then there's a show called Blind Spot, starring Jamie Alexander as Jane Doe. And the synopsis is, a vast international plot explodes when a beautiful Jane Doe is discovered naked in Times Square, completely covered with mysterious, intricate tattoos, with no memory of who she is or how she got there. But there's one tattoo that is impossible to miss, the name of FBI agent Kurt Weller emblazoned across her back. So there's a whole mystery as how she got tattooed and how she ended up where she was and what her background is and so forth. So that starts on Monday, September 21st at 10 p.m. on NBC. All right? And then Doctor Who premieres season 9 on BBC America, September 19th. Go, Doctor, go. Should be a lot of fun. Oh, Peter Capaldi in his second season as a doctor.
And Clara's back.
And Clara's back, and a lot of surprises, so it'll be good. And then last but not least, it's not related to TV, but it is related to convention news in the Rhode Island area. Necronomicon starts later this month, August 20th to 23rd in the Providence area. If you go to their website, I believe it's necronomicon.org.
No.
Is it?
I think it was Necronomicon Providence.
Providence? Okay. Do a web search for Necronomicon. It only happens like every 2 years. A lot of stuff. If you're a real H.P. Lovecraft fan, you're into Cthulhu and all his stories.
So Adam's going.
Yeah, so Adam is definitely, he's going to be camping out on the steps of different venues.
Yeah. I think we'll send a camera with Adam, or we'll come by and with the camera and shoot some stuff at Necronomicon.
It should be a lot of fun. Should be good. All right, so that's all I have this month for Toob News. Let's move on to the wonderful world of anime with a segment we call Anime Daisuki. Go, James, go.
All right, here I am. Okay, so for Anime Daisuki, for all you Gundam fans.
Not another Gundam show.
Not only is it new Gundam stuff coming, but what we've got is a distributor called Right Stuff is issuing all the Gundam series in Blu-ray for North America. So watch for all the great Gundam series on Blu-ray coming from Right Stuff. But then there's also on July 14th, they announced Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blood Orphans. Iron-Blooded Orphans. So it's a whole new series coming this fall. And it'll be really cool. And you can see here some pictures that I got to show you what some of the cast looks like, the new Gundam models, the Zokus or whatever they are, Zaku's and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing new Gundam. If anyone heard of Moomin, which is based on Tove Jansson's cartoonish hippopotamus from Finland. In Japan,
hippopotamus from Finland.
Yes.
Holy culture
it's a whole
shock!
Little family of hippos that is very well known in Scandinavian countries in Northern Europe.
Were big.
Yeah.
I thought hippos were in Africa.
Yes, but Moomin has been like a children's favorite, children's story for many years. And in Japan, they fell in love with it because they produced an anime series back in the 70s.
Well, I figured if they like Hello
Moomin.
Kitty, they'll like hippos too. So go figure.
It's kind of like Baybar.
Yes. Anyway, in Japan, they've finally built a theme park for Moomin-san.
Finally.
Yes, and it's over by Lake Miyazawa in the Saitama Prefecture, just northwest of Tokyo.
I know
it's right
where
there
that is.
on one of the train lines.
Google Map.
It's called Metsa, which is Finnish for forest.
As opposed to matzah.
Come on.
Oi.
Wow, that only took years.
Wait a minute. So they're Jewish hippos?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so the theme park is sort of set in an area that reminds people of Finland, with the forest and the trees and the hills and stuff like that. I'm trying to ignore it all.
Wait a minute. So it reminds them of Finland? Because of the forest and the trees. It's like every country has like forests and trees. Even mostly have desert. Probably have a some trees and
this
stuff.
One's in keeping with the whole Moomin mythology, Moomin setting, because it is a Finnish story, children's story from Finland.
Okay. So let's finish this segment. Here we go.
Anyway, Moomin-san's very popular in Japan. They love it, and they now have a theme park that they're building.
Okay.
All right. Next is
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, Code Geass, Aikido the Exiled. I love Code Geass because they've been able to take this whole story, this alternate universe, and created new stories within that universe. And this one is pretty good. They've been making these episodes, but they've been only releasing them every 3 or 4 months, except like the last one was delayed. And then this next one, the 4th one, is coming out soon. But they've also announced that they're doing a 5th episode of the story, which will come out next spring in 2016. So, I think that as they keep going, they discover there's more story to tell, or they can't complete it quite in the 4th episode that they wanted to do. So, all right. So, if anyone's a fan of Akira, the animated film, and fans of The Simpsons.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, these guys, let's see, who is it? Ryan Humphrey and James Harvey did a comic book or a manga that crosses Bart Simpson with Akira, called Bart-Kira. And they kind of did the artwork with the Simpsons characters in the style of the Akira manga with the same kind of storyline. It's a great parody, and they've done art exhibits with this artwork. So now they have a whole trailer that's just shot for shot the Akira trailer for Bart-Kira. So here, take a look at this. So, for some of you, that was just a snippet of it. It looks really cool. And, check out the Bart-Kira. You can find it on Vimeo, YouTube, and the manga on their website, bartkira.com. So, in Japan, the Galaxy Express 39 railway train, they actually have one that has like this Galaxy Express 39 motif painted all around this train, is being retired. So people have created a crowdfunding campaign to kind of revive it and to keep it going. It's a beautiful train, and the artwork on it has been great. And if anyone's ever looking for the steam train that the Galaxy Express 39 is based off of, the real train is sitting in a railway museum in Chicago. So the 39 train is there. It ran in New York, going up and down the Hudson Valley and stuff like that for many years, back in the late 19th century. So you can find it in Chicago. Let's see. And what else we got here? Toonami has new shows coming out. Michiko to Hachin, which just started in July, replacing Inuyasha. That's about this young girl who thought she was an orphan, and then it turns out her mother has been in prison. Her mother breaks out of prison to find her, and then they go off and have adventures. And then in August, replacing Kill la Kill is Akame ga Kill. And then later on in October, Parasite the Maxim, which is a really kind of gory horror-like story. These
sounds like it.
Yep. I'm not sure if they're aliens or if they're just some kind of parasitic creatures taking over these bodies. It looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to that coming out in October. And then for all you cosplayers and or photographers that are interested in cosplay and photography, there's a thing called CAPE, Cosplay and Photography Expo. It's happening over the middle of the August weekend, around the 16th. And it's going to be a one-day expo for cosplayers and photography up in, I believe it's in Worcester.
Right. Is there a website?
Yeah, there's a website. Rodney, the first-person shooter who does a lot of stuff for Nerd Caliber, he's going to be there. It's going to give a lot of opportunity for cosplayers to learn like the craft of cosplaying, making costumes and posing and things like that, and the photographers too are involved.
Because that's turned into a real art form too.
Yeah,
it really has.
So yeah, looking
in
forward
this
to
country,
that.
it has.
Yeah,
it's been an art form in Japan for years.
Right.
Right.
Kathy wants to know what about
Da-da-da? Second season's out, so
there we go.
Go check. I don't know if it's coming to Cartoon Network. I hope it does. But we'll see. And that's all I have for this month.
While you were talking about your anime segment, it's not quite anime, but I do remember seeing this blurb come up, which I think is kind of a big deal. I guess they're remastering Iron Giant, and it's going to be released in the theaters later on this year.
Yep, end of September.
If you didn't get the chance to see that, you really should. That's a really, really good
a classic film.
Animation film, and it should be seen on the big screen.
Yep, written and directed by the same man who later did The Incredibles. So Brad Bird. So yeah, check it out.
Cool. All right. We went to ConnectiCon 2015. We got tons and tons of interviews and footage and stuff that you should be taking a look at. So here's some scenes from ConnectiCon 2015 in Hartford, Connecticut.
It can be hard to switch over because I had gotten to a point where I had booked a couple of pretty high-profile anime series, and I was getting booked for more and more of that work. And for me particularly, just specifically, that would be stuff that I would book on my own, and my agents would book the U.S. animation for me. Just because there are different contracts, there's a different pay scale, that sort of thing. And I got to the point where I was working so many anime jobs that I was not available for the auditions. And one of my agents pulled me aside and he said, listen, it's totally your choice, but we really believe in you, and you just need to kind of think about what you want in your career and where you want to go with it and stuff like that. And I always wanted U.S. animation to be part of my career. And so it required turning down a lot of work for a while. So there was literally a couple of years there where I turned down so many things. There were certain companies that have not ever called me again, and it's really hard because you're giving up certain money to pursue something else. And I've been so fortunate because the fan base in anime is so wonderful and so passionate, and I have been able now to go back and do a couple of titles here and there, and even now, you know, I do mostly Western animation, but there have been sequels that have been coming out with the anime schedules, and they're like, we'll work around you to make sure that we can bring you back for this character. So I feel really fortunate that now I feel like I've got the best of both worlds, but it did take a lot of sacrifice there for a while. It was very rough. It was very, I've never had anybody actually ask me about it, but it was a tough transition. But yeah, knock on wood, it worked out, so.
That's awesome. What was that first? She asked me, what was the first union gig that you got?
You know, the first, I mean, I booked a couple of radio spots, and I booked 1 or 2 video games, but the first, like, U.S. series that I booked was Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. Say that, yeah, 5 times fast. And we did about, I think, 52 episodes of that. And the hilarious thing was, it was a U.S. show that was done in an anime style, and I showed up at the first recording session, and there was a guy wearing an FLCL t-shirt. And I didn't want to be a jerk, but I was just like, hey, so you like FLCL? And he's like, oh yeah, you know what it is? And I'm like, I actually did the voice of Harugo for that. And he's like, what? So that show like totally inspired me to become an animator. And it's awesome. I get goosebumps actually, like literally, as I'm talking about it, because
I can see it.
Can you? I know. Because I've showed up to so many shows now at Nickelodeon or at Disney, and the animators will be wearing anime t-shirts, and it has influenced them to go into animation or to become animators. And so again, like I just feel this amazing sense of synchronicity and stuff like that, that my first US show was an anime style show, and that has continued to influence a new generation of you know, US animators.
Awesome, so amazing.
That was such a fun movie on several levels. First of all, my son was 5 years old when it came out, and so it confused him. He didn't know if he was Max or Goofy's son or my son, or was Goofy, you know, Max's brother. He didn't really know. We went to an early screening of a Goofy movie, and my son, when we came out, my son was crying, and I said, well, Austin, what's the matter, buddy? And he said, well, when Goofy went over the waterfall, I thought that was you, you know. And so I said, oh, you know, that was a very bonding thing for me and Austin. And over the years, many people have written to me how it was like their and their dad's movie together, that it was a big bonding picture with them. And that really, you know, that's nice. Also, it's really great to see your voice in front of a live audience in a movie theater, where you can see your work and see people appreciate it. When we do our work, we're just in a little booth with a microphone and a script generally, and we never get to see the reaction that people get from it, whether they like it or don't like it. Whereas if you see a final product in a movie theater with an audience, that's a special treat. And that's great when I get a chance to do that.
How'd you get the role as Goofy?
Okay, at the time, in 1986, I was living in Dallas, Texas, and I had an agent there. I was doing commercials, and I was also doing some stand-up comedy around the area, and an impression kind of routine. This agent said, well, with all the voices you do, why don't you go to Hollywood and give it a shot? I got an apartment in Hollywood, was able to get an agent, and after just about 4 months, my agent said, do you do any of the Disney characters? And I said, well, you know, most people can kind of do a Mickey if you can get into that, gosh, oh boy, you know, kind of that falsetto thing. Donald's a tough one, you know, you know, that's about all I can do. But Wars Goofy was right in the wheelhouse. And I really didn't do that in my comedy career or as an impression. So it was really, I studied it over one weekend, sent in an audition, and out of about 1,000 or so people that tried out for it, they liked mine. And I've been doing it ever since January of '87. I studied with Dawes Butler when I first came to LA, and for those of you who don't know, he was a great voice artist behind Yogi Bear, Huckleberry, and all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And a friend of mine said, hey, you ought to take classes from Dawes Butler. And I said, the Dawes Butler? And yeah, and I call him up, and he was this short little guy, hardly over 5 feet tall, and had this great talent. He kind of sounded like Captain Crunch, who he voiced. His regular voice was kind of like that. And I'd say, oh, come on over, Bill. It's only $10, and if you don't have it, don't worry about it. And I'd go over to his house in Beverly Hills, and in the back, he had a little studio where he would teach us about the points of voice acting. And he was the first one that really emphasized that it is about the acting and not the voice as much. It's voice acting, not voice acting. People concentrate so much on doing the voice, they don't put life into the character, and they don't give the character life through the acting, and that's the most important part. And that's where the 5 years I did doing stand-up was probably the best training I ever got, because you learn from the audience what's funny and how to say a line and how to tell a joke and that sort of thing.
All right, and now finally, it's a very short one. We have time for toys, props, and other
stuff, my child,
where we point to the wonderful world of science fiction collectibles and speaks about them. What's the one thing we have today? Oh, there's our PEG trophy that we got years ago, our PEG Awards trophy.
Yes, but next to that is a Star Wars compendium.
It's the Star Wars.
The Star Wars.
The Star Wars.
Yes.
It's the rough draft script that George Lucas originally wrote for the Star Wars.
In graphic novel form?
Yep.
Collected for you?
Yep, the adventures of Anakin Starkiller and Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Han Solo, he's a big giant green guy.
Right, yep.
And the Wookiees that were involved with building the Death Star. Let's see, Princess Leia's in there. So but a lot of it, if you read through it, you'll find like, oh, this is what they used in like Return of the Jedi, or this is what they used in Empire Strikes Back, or this is what they used in the prequels. You know, a lot of those ideas that wind up in the later movies that they did make are all like in this book.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you missed collecting it when it first came out, I think it was like an 8-issue series. You can pick up that graphic novel. Everything's collected in one. It's pretty good.
Nice hardcover.
It's hardcover. It's even nicer. If you would like to get in touch with us, our address is www.risfc.org. We are at Sci-Fi Journal if you'd like to do the Twitter thing. Please check out our Facebook pages. Also, any shout-outs that we need to talk about?
Just a big heartfelt thank you to Gabe and Derek who put on Pintastic 2015. Really looking forward to Pintastic 2016.
It'll be good.
Even if it interferes with ConnectiCon next year. Hopefully it won't, because I would like to do both. But
right. Okay.
And speaking of ConnectiCon, a big thank you to the guys who run ConnectiCon and especially the media room. They always take great care of us, and they treat us like gold up there. So.
Yep. Thanks to Leo.
Thank you.
And his folks. Yep. They're very nice. Okay, anything else?
I did.
And
before.
That's it. I can't think of it.
That's it. All right. Okay, that's going to be it for this edition of Sci-Fi Journal. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.